Welcome back. It is 6:13 our time, and it is now time for our sit-down interview with Governor Sandoval. This is an interview you will only see here on Channel 2 News this morning.
And it's very good to see you again, Governor Sandoval. Thank you for coming out.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. First question about your State of the State address. It had one glaring similarity to the State of the Union, and that is both you and the President kind of proposed programs that are going to be very difficult for you to get through your legislatures. You know, we have a Republican majority, very Republican majority. It takes a 2/3 vote to approve your $1.1 billion new and extended tax plan. What is your strategy for getting that through?
Well, I think the starting point should be what it's all about, which is education.
Okay.
I mean, education is my priority this legislative session. We're last in the country in graduation rates. You know, it's very important to me that kids read by 3. We have to provide more resources for the gifted and talented children. So I really presented a program in the State of the State from pre-K all the way through college. And so that is the really underpinnings of what I proposed. You know, the next question is, how do you fund it? And I know that's difficult, but you also have to consider that it's important to me to have reforms. And I think we can do better within our education system to make it more transparent, to make it more accountable. And I think when you put all that together, that the legislature will be very receptive.
That they'll see what you're saying.
Yes.
Now, speaking of education, a lot of great proposals that we hope, of course, will come through funding for our students. Something that surprised a great many of us was appointing Pedro Martinez. Can you tell us a little bit about the reasoning behind that?
Of course. No, and I guess a little bit of background is another thing that I want to establish are the achievement school districts. We have over 70 chronically underperforming schools in the state of Nevada that have been underperforming for over 10 years. So I wanted to develop an achievement school district where there is somebody that is overseeing those school districts. Mr. Martinez is somebody that I've known and respected for a very long time. He was the deputy superintendent in Clark County. He was the deputy superintendent in Washoe and the superintendent here. He is an expert at doing turnaround schools, and I felt he was the perfect person at the right time.
All right, well, this week, now this is big news, Colorado is going to come out with their December tax revenue figures. All indications are that recreational marijuana is going to provide a nice boost to that state. What is your position on legalizing the sale of recreational marijuana in Nevada? Because we do have a petition heading to our legislature about that.
I oppose it. You know, plain and simple, I oppose it. I was very supportive of medical marijuana. I think it's important. There are patients out there that can use it, but when it comes to recreational marijuana, I do oppose it. I've spoken with the governor of Colorado. There may be revenue there, but there are also a lot of social issues that come along with that. And,
which will cost more money.
Well, it'll cost more money, and it's causing issues with youth and access and those types of issues. So it's just something that I have never supported and will not support.
Now, of course, medical marijuana, we're moving ahead on that.
Yes.
But a report came out just yesterday saying that reports of impaired driving, about 50% up on drivers driving under the influence of marijuana.
And we just had that in the news today.
Yeah. What will we do to sort of combat that?
Well, if that's in Nevada, that's something that's news to me. But in any event, we're still making sure that we deliver medical marijuana in the most responsible way. And even if you are, have a prescription for that, you cannot be driving. So I don't think it'll change anything in terms of law enforcement.
What do you say to people who say the answer to fixing education is not more money, but rather an internal management issue with the school district?
Well, it's a combination of things, and I talked about that in the State of the State. And as I just mentioned a moment ago, reform is incredibly important, and that's why I want to make sure that our schools are accountable. Because if we're going to be making the type of investment that I'm proposing, over $430 million in programming for Read by 3, for pre-K, for all-day kindergarten, for more gifted and talented, $50 million for more technology in the schools. I, just like everybody else, want to make sure that every cent gets to exactly where it needs to go,
but
which is the
you've
classroom.
seen evidence that money equals improved school performance.
Well, as I said, it's a combination of things. You can't reform your way out of this. And that's why, and the other thing I think is important to know is the way we fund our schools is the same way we did it 50 years ago. The state has changed and the demographics have changed, and we need to match the way we fund our schools with modern times.
So with these proposals, the per student spending is going to go up,
Yes,
hopefully.
yes, no, it definitely will go up dramatically.
Okay, coming up next, thank you, Governor.
Yeah.
We'll have even more questions for Governor Sandoval. This is Channel 2 News, this morning coverage you can count on.